So to start with, the first and the main concept is virtual private cloud. That is called VPC. So
Okay.
initially we will take the full name, but later on we will say VPC. But what is VPC? When we say VPC, so basically it's a network. It's the first network, virtual network, where we will try to create our infra, like the basic requirement of the cloud. Okay. So to start with, what is the first thing which we need to start with any service? Yeah, there are multiple services, but to create the end-to-end infra, we require a virtual network. That is called VPC. Now, what it does, it will help us to create the resources in the AWS network. Okay.
Okay.
Which will be same as the traditional network. But here terminologies are different. Number one. Number two, the set of requirement which we need over here. Those terms are different. Otherwise, the fundamentals are the same. Okay.
Oh, okay.
VPC, just read it once. So
Yeah.
just read it.
Yeah. Amazon, which was private cloud, enables us to launch Amazon Web Services resource into virtual network that you define.
Yeah.
This virtual network closely resembles as a traditional network that you operate in your own data center with benefit of using the scalable infrastructure of AWS.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So just the term. So virtual private cloud, VPC. Now, what are the VPC component? Subnet, route table, IGW, NAT gateway, NACL. Okay. So what we understood, VPC is the basic virtual component where we can create our infrastructure. Okay. Now these are the subcomponents of the VPC: subnet, route table, IGW, NAT gateway. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
IGW is internet gateway. NACL.
Okay.
NACL is network access control list.
Okay.
Now go through it, just the architecture to understand it further. So when we go to cloud, so the basic architecture looks like this. Now, what does it mean? First of all, we should have AWS account.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
After that, we will select a region. Okay.
Okay.
Now in AWS, there are multiple region. Now, what does the region mean? Region means like a country, a place. Okay.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
place where we need to deploy our resources. Now, how will decide that where we want to deploy our resources? So if suppose my company is in Bangalore, so I would choose India region.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So based on, so region is country specific,
Okay.
like America, London, etc., etc. Okay.
Okay.
But the term, and here the terms are different. Like America is called North Virginia. Then this London and England is called something else. Then India is called Asia Pacific. So the short form is AP hyphen South 1, B, C, etc., etc. Now again, it is divided based
Okay.
on the sub locations like Mumbai, Bangalore, etc., etc. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So now account, in that account, we have selected the region. In that region, now we will create our VPC. Okay, virtual
Okay.
private cloud. In that
Okay.
VPC, there would be availability zones. Okay, it could be 2, it could be 3, based on the regions and availability of this AZs. We can call it AZ also. Okay, that is
Okay.
availability zone. So here it is 2. One is for public and one is private subnet. We will go through it in very detail. Don't worry. Just the
Okay.
architecture I'm explaining you. And in public subnet, there is one web server located. Web server is attached with the elastic IP.
Okay.
So it is public. That is why internet gateway is here. And internet
Okay.
gateway is directly like it is accessible from internet. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
NAT gateway is only for the private instances or private resources, but it is created in public subnet. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what does
Okay.
it mean? Created in public subnet because it will, from where it will get the internet, from IGW. That's why it is in public subnet. Okay.
Okay.
Then the private instance subnet is accessible like internet. It can access the internet. Okay. So via NAT gateway. So this is the standard VPC architecture. Now let's go to detail. So I will paste this later on. So 1 minute, let me see. Okay, now let's go to detail in all these components. Then I will show you one of the demo also. Now
Yeah.
VPC component. Now what is subnet? So when we create the VPC, so the first thing which we need is CIDR range. Now CIDR range is what? Whether I need 10 resources to be created, 20 resources to be created. Based on that, I will select the CIDR range. Now CIDR range is starts from /16.
Okay.
And from /16, uh, we can make it like /20, /24. So this is the standard one. But if we need like very few resources, then maybe we can create /28 also. Now, how we calculate this thing?
Yeah.
We calculate it like this. Or maybe should I show you at the end, the practical? Okay. So I will explain now. I'll show you this at the end. Okay. So say suppose we have selected /28. Okay. Now say 172.20.00/20. Sorry, /28. Now 28 and /32. How much we always compare with /32. Now 28 and 32. How much is the difference? 4,
Four.
right?
Four. Yeah.
Okay. So 4 now 2 raised to 4. 2 raised to that, like we'll calculate the difference and 2 raised to that number will do. And then we will get the range, like the total IPs. Okay. Now
Oh,
4 means 2 raised to 4 is 16, right?
yeah.
So we will get 16 IP address. So say suppose we want 10 resources. So we will select /21, 8 range, not 29. Why? Because in AWS, as per the standard AWS practice, at the backend, it uses uh, 5 IP address range for broadcasting, for DNS surveys. Okay. 4 starting ranges and 1 last IP address range. And we
Okay.
will always get allocated the in between ranges. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is how the VPC CIDR range works. That is one thing. Now, after VPC, now we cannot just, it's like, let me give you example. What is VPC and how subnet would work? So VPC is a society. Okay. Now
Okay.
in one society, I cannot, I have to visit someone's house, right?
Yeah.
Now, what all I should know? I should know building name, number
Yeah.
one. I
Yeah.
should know flat number,
Yeah.
right? These two detail, right? After, then only I can go to their room. Okay.
Yeah.
So VPC is a society where n number of buildings are there. Now that n number could be subnets.
Okay.
Okay. So building 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So say suppose I had created 3 subnet. Okay. So
Okay.
now 3 subnets is what? Again, it would be subdivided. So I had got, now let's make a bigger range, /24. /24 VPC I have. Now I will divide it further into the 2 subnets, or say suppose 3 subnets. And
Okay.
that would be say suppose in the range of /28 both, right?
Yeah.
So I will get 16 IP address. Just the numbers, I'm saying just the numbers. I will show you later.
Okay.
So now I have 3 subnets. Why 3 subnets? So as per the standard practice, we should have 3 subnets. One for web. You have heard this term, web app DB, right?
Yeah.
Standard
Yeah.
architecture. So one for public, one for application, and one for database. So app servers and database servers should always be in private subnet. Now, when I'm saying private subnet, what does it mean? Private subnet means there no one from the internet can access our resources. That is private subnet. Okay.
Yeah.
I say public subnet. It means that my resource is accessible from the internet. I can put lot of restrictions in it, but it will be accessible from internet.
Yeah.
Like if I want to access my say some of my resources from the internet, then I will just go to Chrome, and from there I can access my resource. That is web server. But I cannot access app or database. Why? Because they would be in private subnets. So at further standard architecture, the app layer and DB layer should always be kept in private subnet. Okay.
Okay.
So subnet is this thing. Now route table. Now route table is what? Basically, we will do routing here. We will say that we will make the lot of segregation. We are saying that these are my public subnet, hence it would be accessible from internet. So routing should look like so in routing we will get tabular form details. So say suppose I am saying my VPC number 1, subnet number 1 should be connected with route table 1. Okay. Now route table 1 is saying it is accessible to internet. Okay. So I will attach it to my web server while creating the web server instance. Instance is what? Is the server.
Okay.
Okay. Later on, we will say it EC2 machine.
Okay.
Okay. So later on, we'll very get to know about these terms, but since it is starting, so that's fine. Okay. Now subnet. Now we have done subnetting. We have created one CID, a big range. We have divided into small parts, that is subnet. Later on, we have decided which one I will make to public, which one private, that would be route table. Now, IGW. IGW is internet gateway. Now, whichever instances I want to make public, I will create IGW. I will attach IGW to my VPC, and in public subnet, I will make entry of IGW. Okay. So that is what? That will become public subnet. Okay. Now, next is NAT gateway. When there is a private instance and say suppose I have to do patching of database server, right?
Yeah.
Then how can I do this without having internet access? I cannot do it, right?
Yeah.
So somehow I need the internet access, so there I can use NAT gateway. Now, what is the difference between IGW and NAT gateway? Okay. So IGW is what? It's a bidirectional traffic for internet access, right?
Yeah.
But NAT gateway is not bidirectional. NAT gateway is what? Nobody from internet can access our resources, but our resources can access the contents from internet. Say, for example, our database server, we need to install some packages. So it would extract those packages from internet, right? So in
Yeah.
that case, it would work for us. So that is not bidirectional. So that is the main difference between IGW and NAT gateway. NAT gateway we create in public subnet. Always remember this. But we attach NAT gateway in private subnet. Okay.
Okay.
The task which I will give you, and I will share you links to that, so you will understand it
Okay.
while creating it. Now comes NACL. NACL is a first firewall, we can say. So we have like multiple firewalls in AWS. So NACL is a first firewall, network access control list. Now in NACL, what we are saying, generally we are giving the default entry saying that 100 is allowed for all and star deny all. So what does it mean? Say suppose later on we found that some of the resources are like hackers are trying to hack our some of the resources, public resources, okay?
Yeah.
And we have got those specific IPs. So is NACL is the place where we will define those IPs and we will say this IP, say rule number 99, block it. Now, when I
Okay.
say 99, what does it mean? NACL is again a tabular data, okay, where we will get the numbers. We have to allocate the numbers. And first number, takes the priority based on the first number. Like say, suppose 99. So 99 would have a first priority. Okay. On 99, if we are saying allow all, and on, so sorry, in 99, if we are saying deny all, and 100, we are saying allow all, then it will take the precedence and it will deny all the resources. Like our resources would not be accessible from anywhere.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let me show you this on the practical. First, I will show you this thing, how we can calculate the Mm, okay, so what can you see currently in my screen?
VPC components.
VPC components. Okay. Okay. Now, can you see the Chrome page?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. So, say suppose, as I said, we have to first decide the CIDR range. CIDR is range for to create the VPC and subnetting. Okay. So, as per the standard practice, we have these three ranges: 192 range, then 172 range, and one is this 10 range. These are the three. This is called RFC public IPs. These are the standard AWS, as per the AWS, these are the standard IP addresses. Okay. So
Okay.
in wherever organization, if will observe the IP address, okay, based on the IP address, their resources are accessible, then you always find that they create the resources based on these range only. Okay. So
Okay.
say suppose we will select 190, say suppose, okay, 172.20.00, now /16. Okay, update. So this would become our VPC.
Okay.
Now see, subnet address is this one, fine. Range of address is this to this. Usable IPs is from this to this, and host are this many. Host means IP addresses like 65,534 IP ranges will get. Okay, like
Okay.
this many EC2 instances we can create. So for very big organization always takes /16 range.
Yeah.
So let's keep it simple for now. Date. Yes. Okay. So we will get 254 IP address. Now let's divide. Why to divide? Because we want to create our subnet.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our VPC. Now we will create two subnets, /25 range, /25 range, and 126 in each we will get the IP address. Say, let's divide one more. So web server, app server, DB server, web app DB. So now what all we have? So first of all, we have to create the AWS account. Okay.
Okay.
So now, see, suppose you have created the account. Now here is the region. So as I mentioned, there are many services. Few services are country specific, that is region specific, and few are global services. Global means what? Like if they has nothing to do with this country. Like if you have created in your account, then it would be accessible from like whichever region you can access. No need to create it multiple times, same resource. Okay.
Okay.
Like VPC is region specific. This region, if you want to access, one VPC. This region, another VPC, and so on.
Okay.
Okay. So currently we are in um, India.
Virginia.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is by default, it is in North Virginia region. So,
Okay.
but we are in India. So
Yeah.
India, we have only one location, that is Mumbai, AP South 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's select this. Okay. So now the first thing we will do is we will create the VPC. Okay, now to how to create the VPC. So this is the automatic one. So please do not create resources automatic way. Only use the traditional method so that you will learn more about it. Okay. So
No.
VPC only. Now name it. Say suppose my VPC. If your want to name some company, then you can, as per the standard practice, it should be like prod hyphen and then your company name
Okay.
hyphen VPC. This is the standard practice. That is how you should do the naming convention. And
Okay.
if it is application specific, then you should also write the application. Okay. Say
Okay.
suppose a CRM tool. So hyphen CRM hyphen VPC.
Okay.
Okay. Let me paste this in the chat so that you will remember this. What chat? So naming mention or AWS resources. So it should be environment hyphen application hyphen uses hyphen resource. Okay. So that is how the naming convention should look like. So say suppose prod hyphen application is say suppose CRM hyphen web hyphen VPC. Just an example. Say suppose we are using different VPC for web and DB. So sometimes some organization are using different VPC for different layers, but ideally it is told to them to create one VPC and segregate, do the subnetting between the web app and DB layer.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. So now naming convention we did. Now IPR CIDR manual input. This one I will tell you later. So for now, so what range we have selected now? This one, 170 to 20.
24. 24.
Yes. So this slash 24. IPv6 CIDR, no, we don't want IPv6. So I believe you know the difference between IPv4 and IPv6, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, we'll get more IPs.
Yeah.
IPv6 because it's 32 byte and this one is 28 byte.
Yeah.
Okay. So now tenancy, we will always keep it default. If we will select dedicated, then we will get more charges. So dedicated is what? Now, how this, when we talk about cloud, how does this cloud work? We are saying it is virtual, but it is actually virtual. No, it is not. There are data centers kept at different locations based on the region we select. Okay. So those locations are called data centers. And data centers is what? Availability zone. Okay. So now we'll create the VPC. So I'm not creating it now. So this is how we will create the VPC. Now
Okay.
created the VPC. Now we'll go for subnet. So now we will select our VPC, whatever VPC we have selected. Since I'm in different region, that's why it is not. Let me go to North Virginia. Then I can at least show you the default components over there. Okay. So now see, this is the VPC. In every region, there is default VPC present. So please don't work on the default VPC. I'm showing
Okay.
only for practical purpose. Please don't use this one. You create your own.
Okay.
And there are two methods like VPC and more. Like simultaneously, VPC and subnet route table would be created at one go. But please don't use this one. Use this one instead. Then only you
Okay.
will get in a better way. Okay.
Okay.
Now, after creating VPC, we'll create the subnet. While creating the subnet, it will ask you to select your VPC and it will ask you to select the CIDR range, like name, some XYZ, whatever, AZ.
The
Now,
same thing I should give, or the CDRM, whatever we
no,
mentioned.
no. So, this is our VPC CIDR range. Now,
Yeah.
we divided it into three subnets. So,
Okay.
subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3. Now,
Okay.
how subnet naming convention? It should be like this. Prod hyphen CRM hyphen public subnet. So we are saying public and private. So public subnet. So this is how we will do the subnetting.
Okay.
Subnet name convention. Okay. Oh.
No, I'm asking about the range IP address.
Yes.
The you
Yes.
told here where you're given as 24, right? For
Yes.
subnet, we have to give the same thing or a different.
No, different. So see
Yeah.
how we'll do this. So we will use a visual subnet calculator. This is the link. Let me share it to you. We can use any link. This is one of them.
Okay.
Link for CIDR range and VPC subnet later. Okay. Now, so first we have to select one CIDR range. You can select any. If suppose you want 100 something something, you can do that also. But as I said, these are the standard one, 172 and
192,
192 range
192.
and 10. These are
Yeah.
the standard one. So if you'll work on this one, and because in organization, if you have seen, I don't know, in Azure, whether you get to see the IP ranges, because generally how people are doing it, they create the host name and all the resources we are only accessible from the resource based on the DNS. So who is working on the Azure or maybe in like the who is doing daily tasks, only they get to see the IP ranges and all.
Okay.
So, yeah. So have you seen those IP ranges by any chance?
No, actually, since it is a client based, this one, actually they will only manage it.
Oh,
We
okay.
will not see.
Okay.
There is a manager. He will take care of that because it is a. They will not give access to everything.
Okay. Yeah. Least privilege access is given based on
Yeah,
the.
we will be a system administrator. We'll have a AD access, full access and all. But other
Oh,
things and all they will restrict. Network things and all they can't. They will not give, since we are a client, we are a vendor. They will not give the full access.
okay. So just like for out of curiosity, just ask them, just a walkthrough of their infrastructure once.
Yeah.
Can they do this? Because then you will get to see those IP ranges and all this. Then
Yeah,
you'll.
I can see that there are multiple location. The IP range will be like some will be 192.168.15, one will be 192.168.16, like that will be there. I can see
Okay.
that different location, different will be there.
Okay. So
I
they're
can see that.
on using 192 range.
Yeah. All the locations there. We have almost 12 locations. 12 to 13 locations are there. Each have the different like 192, 168, 15, 14, 13, like that.
Okay. So, yeah, where were we? Yeah. So we will first decide one CIDR range. We will update over here and mask bits what we want. We will decide and accordingly we will divide it. Say suppose we want to create 3 subnets. So now this is subnet 1. So
Okay.
now we'll give this range. Okay, while creating the subnet, we will give this range
Okay.
since it is default VPC. So subnet is automatically, yeah, here it is. So this one, say suppose this one. So that is how we will get subnet 1 range. And this is the VPC range. Out of this, they have suppose 3100/25. Okay, and now create subnet. So now first subnet will be created. Now similarly, second subnet, we will give second range, this one.
20.0.128/26.
And
Again, third subnet, same the last one.
yes, correct.
The each subnet will get that IP range. The 62 we get the 62 IPs.
Yes, 62 IPs.
Yeah.
So from here
Like
we can get the
it's 62 IPs means it is like a users. Example, you can tell us a users, right?
no, no,
Because see,
not.
each laptop will be assigned, like suppose if one laptop
Yes,
is there, it
MAC
will be
address.
assigned.
Yes, MAC address. So for each lap, so what is VPC? VPC, okay.
I
So
mean to
talk
say,
about MAC.
I
Huh?
mean to say, like, see, each laptop will be assigned only single IP address, right? It will not be like multiple IP address. Like that, I can take
Yes. You can
system, like system, one
correct.
IP is
MAC
one system.
address. Yes, one IP, one system. Yes.
Yeah.
So for each laptop, we have a different MAC address, right? Sorry, MAC address, I'm saying.
Yeah, Mac is different for each and every laptop.
Yes, MAC address is different. So if suppose we have to give access to some Wi-Fi connection or something, we always share the MAC address, which is unique one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we will get the IP config. That is
Yeah.
also different. So that is the range. So that is how you can consider. Don't worry, we will get to see each and everything in very detail. So
Okay.
for now, VPC and subnet. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have created VPC. Now we have created subnet. Now what is next? Now we will create the route table. Now what is route table and how it is created? So in every region, default components are present there. What is default component? VPC, subnet, route table, IGW, etc. So
Yeah.
just an example, say suppose we are creating a route table now. We have to give some name. We have to select our VPC, create route table. Route table is
Okay.
created. Now route table is created. Now we have to make the entry. Now once we select the VPC, right, while creating the route table, what it does over there, based on your range, it will say this is local and all traffic would be allowed for this range within the AWS account.
Okay.
Okay. That is what is the meaning of this. So in every route table, there is this entry by default created.
Okay.
Now after this, say suppose I'm saying now after this, I need to associate this route table with the subnet. Currently, it is not associated. So edit subnet. Now suppose I have selected one subnet and I'm saying this is my private subnet. It will be connected with my route table, private route table. So save association. So now what will happen? Say suppose I have three route table. One route table is route table public one is connected with public subnet, private one with private, okay, and so on, right?
Yeah.
So or say suppose we are doing the subnetting like this: web subnet, app subnet, DB subnet. Accordingly, we will create three route table: web route table, app route table, DB route table. So this is the standard practice. That is okay. So
Yeah.
now what we'll do? We have created VPC, we have created subnet. After creating subnet, we have created route table. Now we will associate a route table to subnet. After this, we will find that after associating subnet to route table, we'll get the entry over here also. Now what I'm
Okay.
saying, this I want to make this one my public subnet. Okay. Public subnet means what? I should have internet access. Now I will create an internet gateway. Name it, create it. After creating internet gateway, I have to attach this internet gateway to my VPC. Say, so here you are seeing attached to VPC.
Okay.
This is option
Yeah.
is why? Because it is already connected with the default VPC because it is default component.
Okay.
Okay. So now we will attach this IGW to our VPC. Now what is next? Next is I'll go to my route table. I will say this is my public route table. Let's edit route. And what I'll do, I'll say I'll make this entry 000. Select this one. And here internet gateway and the internet ID we will get over here. The one which is
Okay.
already created. And we will select this one and then save changes. Now what will happen? Now my this route table, which is attached to the public subnet, have a internet gateway attached. Means what? Now my subnet will become public.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have suppose two more route table, but I'm not going to do the IGW entries in that one. Why? Because those are my private subnets. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the difference between public and private subnet. So basically attached with internet gateway, not attached with the internet gateway. And now
Okay.
what's internet gateway? Where from where like internet is accessible and internet is not accessible. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, okay. Now network ACL I will show you. NACL. So NACL, default NACL is present. We have to attach this network ACL to all our subnets. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, create network ACL, name it, attach with the VPC, create. Now created. Now what I have to do is I have to do the subnet association. Okay. Edit
Yeah.
subnet and associate the subnets to it. I will select the boxes and make the changes and done. Okay.
Okay.
Now I will show how, as I said, network ACL is what, NACL is what, firewall, first firewall, right? We can give access from here, we can allow access and block access. This is called stateless. Okay.
Okay.
Now see, 100 all traffic 000 allowed. 00 means what? Whenever you see 000, it means that all access from anywhere. So
Okay.
from NACL, we always give these two. Okay. But later on, when the next firewall come, which is associated with our resource, there we will only allow those resources that is actually we require. Okay.
Yeah.
Here what we are saying, allow all. That's fine. Because here it will try to, like define the rules. And then we have only limited blocks. We can only allow I think 64 rules at a time, and we have lot of resources, different subnets, different resources, so we don't have that much of table. So that's why we always use these two standard. Now what I was saying, we can block here. Now add a new rule, and now what we are getting that some IP XYZ from some country, say suppose uh, US, we are getting some unknown IP address, and the hackers from there trying to access our resources, trying to hack our resources. So what we'll do, we'll define a range 99 all traffic. Now we will give that range. Say suppose that range is 10 um, 32.14, because that is public IP we are getting, right?
Yeah.
Slash 32. Why slash 32? Only one IP.
Yeah.
So now deny. Now save changes. So now what will happen? 99 would take the precedence.
Okay.
Now immediately NACL will say, oh, this IP, block this. And later then it will go to 100. So that is how numbering works in the NACL.
Okay.
Highest number would take the precedence.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the first firewall in the AWS VPC. So that is called network access control list.
Yeah. Here you have given naming conversation for a subnet and how, because we should not get confused, right? For each and every have multiple subnets.
Yes. Where is this? Yeah. So prod CRM public subnet. Okay. So prod CRM private subnet. Prod CRM private subnet 1, private subnet 2, like this.
Okay.
Okay. So in subnetting, now one more thing I want to show you. Okay. So US East, that is North Virginia. So the actually how it is looking, US-East-1. Right? Now
Yeah.
let's one interesting thing over here. Subnet. Why there is no naming convention? Because these are default resources.
Okay.
Okay. Now look, these are the default resources which is already here in the AWS. So we can utilize it, but please do not use any of the default component. Create by your own. So
Okay.
as much time as you create the resources, you will get to learn more.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So see, one difference I will show. So one VPC, fine. Now tenancy default. Default VPC, yes, it is default VPC. Fine. Now subnets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subnets are here. Now let's go to some other region, Ohio region. Now, oh, North California. Okay. So why it is saying like this? Because it is blocked. Regions are blocked as per the security standard rule. Uh,
Okay.
Anyways, so okay, I'll tell you directly. So in North Virginia, by default, there are 6 subnets present, but in all other regions, there are only 3 subnets present. Now, what does it mean? Now, look here. Availability zone. Availability zone means what? Data center. When we select Mumbai from here, we will get 3 availability zones. What does it mean? Now, in 3 different locations, actually my data center is present. So, say suppose I want my resources to be highly available, right? So
Yeah.
what I'll do, I will create same set of resources in 3 different availability zones. That is called AZ. Now, how does this AZ look like? It looks like this. US hyphen East 1 based on the country. This would be like the naming convention it would take. Like for Mumbai, AP South 1. Till here it will same, it will different. And here A, B, C, D, E, F. So only North Virginia have 6 availability zones. Others have only 3 availability zones.
Default.
Default one.
Okay.
Default one. Like if we'll create our own, so we can create 6 availability. We can deploy resources in 6 AZs because we have this many options,
Okay.
right? But even if we will create the custom one, so 6 different availability zones we will get. But for other countries, we will get 3 different availability zones. So that is a different
Okay.
because since AWS located in like it is US based and North Virginia is the place where it is all like all the setup has been done. So that's why we will get maximum components and all the services whenever it is launched first. Everything is launched first in North
North Virginia.
Virginia. So
Yeah.
like in North Virginia, we will get all the components, all the services.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what the availability zone is. So availability zone is indirectly it is what? Data center. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So now what I have to create is I have to create my web app and DB layer. So now what I'll do based on my subnet, I can create my resources. Say suppose all my resources are in reason, availability zone 1A. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So now say suppose I want my app server to be highly available. So what I'll do, I'll create it into one more zone. Then say suppose I have created into 2 HAs, but I'm seeing that sometimes both are going down. So what I'll do, I'll create into 2 more, or maybe I can create in all of the 6 one just to make it highly available. So generally, this is never like this is likely. This is never happen. Like some AZ will find that suddenly it goes down and all. But as per the standard practice, like what we cannot um, like we cannot say like never this natural calamities happen, never this disasters happen. This can happen anytime, anywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to avoid that, highly available resources can be deployed. Such type of setup is being done. Okay. And
Okay.
AWS has the system where we can create the DR strategy. Now, how the DR, you might be knowing, right, this term?
DR.
Yeah.
No. In
Okay.
I AWS, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Not an issue. Okay. So HA is what? Highly available, right? So HA is when we saying we want our resources to be highly available, so we can deploy them in multiple AZs. Okay, that is fine. That is one thing. Now, what if complete region will go down? What if complete North Virginia will go down?
Yeah.
So that is called DR strategy, under which we can deploy resources in different region itself. So say suppose one region, completely one whole region goes down, all my resources would get deployed within few minutes in the other country itself, other region itself. That is called DR strategy.
Okay.
Okay. I think this is extra info. for now, but okay. So now we have all these components created. Now what we'll do, we will create our resource that is called EC2. But before that, let's go to our slides. Then we'll come back into this one. Okay, so can you please summarize it once, whatever we have learned till now, or whatever you have just understood?
Yeah, we have created a VPC and we have created a subnet and we did routing to that
Hmm.
and we attached the internet gateway.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and you have shown me uh, the regions.
Okay. Now, once again, when we'll come to this architecture, now it is more clearer to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that was the objective. So now this is task set 1. Let me share this to you. Uh, okay. Now, so just tell me like how you will create this one. So the first one.
We will create a VPC.
Yeah. But to create,
Uh,
see what is the first thing we need?
Sorry,
Like, what is the first thing we need before creating the VPC?
we need a CID range.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. So which CIDR range you will select?
24/24, 192 or 100 series or 172 series or 10 series, any of the one.
Okay. Okay. So can you take /28 VPC?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Now you have created the VPC. Okay, next. Second question.
Then we'll create a subnet.
Yes. And then
Uh,
custom route table.
yeah, custom route table.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then integrate with the internet gateway,
Yes.
associate with the internet gateway.
Yes.
Uh, then if you want to allow that to public,
Yeah.
that gateway.
Yes. So let me, yeah. So VPC with custom resources. Let me, hmm. Now when I say custom resources means it is understood that you will create VPC, subnet, route table, and IGW. Don't create NAT gateway. Okay.
Okay.
Don't create NAT gateway for now. Okay. And create different NACL and attach subnet into it. Okay, all the subnets. And so how many subnets you will create for now?
Uh, three, three.
One VPC and okay, 3 subnets in, in, in easy. Easy. Okay, what is easy?
Availability zone.
Okay. What actually it is?
It's a one region. They will have a multiple locations like that.
Okay, so when we are saying easy, please always remember this.
The
It's
data center,
data center. Okay.
multiple data center.
Yes.
Above suppose in like in Bangalore, if you take
Yeah.
uh, three different places like
Yes.
that.
Correct. Correct. So when we saying easy, so 3 different places. Now, what is more? One more thing about the easy is it could be how it is like naming convention is being done.
East 1A, 1B,
Yeah.
1C like
So
that.
A, B, C.
Yeah, BC.
North Virginia has the highest AZs.
Six,
Take
six, six,
other regions would have only
three.
3 AZs. That's correct. So, okay. So now difference between IGW and NAT gateway. So just read about it in very detail. I will share you the link from where to read. So that once we create the NAT gateway, then you'll understand like why NAT, what is the base main difference. While creating, you'll have more idea. Okay,
Okay.
just
Okay.
read about it. Third is also just to read. So okay, so just tell me once like why what is public subnet and private subnet, the difference.
Public update means we can access the resource from anywhere. Private means it is only internal. It's like intranet.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. And when we talk about in terms of AWS only, AWS components only, then how it is different, like in terms of subnet, routable, etc., etc. Then how we can recognize that yes, it is public subnet, it is private subnet? How can we recognize?
We are getting naming conversation right for that to identify.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And one more thing, uh, table entry. If you remember anything from the route table entry,
Yeah, route table entry.
yeah.
No,
Okay, let me see.
since it is new, I can't capture it.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Now I'm saying this is my public subnet. How I say this thing? How can I say this?
This is a local, showing a local.
No. This is VPC range, which is by default present in my route table. Then only my all resources would be accessible. This range, right?
Yeah,
IGW. Okay.
yeah.
When there is an entry of IGW, then it is public subnet. When there is no entry of IGW, then it is private subnet.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of AWS resources is different.
That should be there in route table. IGW should be there. Only it is a public.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
If that is not there, it is a private.
Yes, correct.
Yes, that particular component.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, just read it and let's quickly summarize what we had learned yesterday.
We learned about VPC and we learned about subnets, NAT gateway, NACL, and Internet gateway.
Okay. And what is VPC?
Virtual private code.
Okay. And
In that, we will create a subnet and we will create a Internet gateway to communicate.
communicate with.
VPC, EC2.
Okay. So, okay. So just read it. Just read it.
Amazon Virtual Private Cloud enables us to launch Amazon Web Services resource into a virtual network that you define. This virtual network closely resembles a traditional network that you operate in your own data center with the benefits of using scalable infrastructure of AWS.
Okay. So basically, VPC is what?
It is one of the service in AWS.
Yes. Where what we do? First, we like to create the VPC. The first thing we need is
EC2.
no, no. EC2 we have not yet covered.
Uh,
Thing what we need to create the VPC.
yeah, we have to create a VPC and then we have to tag the subnets, then internet gateway.
Yeah, but to create the VPC, what is required?
Uh, DRI block. The IP address
IDR
request.
block.
IDR
See,
block. IDR block. IDR
yeah,
block.
yeah. So it could be in the range of what? Like what is the ideal?
192 series, 192, 168, or 172, or 10 dot series.
Okay. With how much would be the uh, net mask? Like how much would be the slash?
Dash 24 or 28, according to our requirement.
Okay. Okay. So elastic compute cloud. Now EC2 is the resource. First, we have to create the account. After creating the account, we have to select the region. After selecting the region, we have to create the VPC. Then we have to create subnet, then the route table, then the IGW if required. And for now, like, yes, IGW is required because without IGW, how we are going to connect our instances,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
IGW is required. So when IGW is created and attached it to VPC, and the same entry we will do in the route table of the public subnet. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we can call it like it is a public subnet. Whenever in any subnet there is an entry of IGW, that is called public subnet. When there
Yeah.
is no entry of IGW, that is called private subnet. So
Okay.
this is the difference between public and private subnet. In public subnet, we create web server. In private subnet, we create app server or database servers. So app
Okay.
and database server should always be in different subnets or in a private subnets. Okay, now EC2. Now we created the virtual network.
This EC2 is like a OS, right? It's a operating system.
Yes, EC2 is like our laptop.
It is
So
operating system like Windows.
yes, yes. So now VPC is created. Now what? Now we have to create the resource. Now say suppose I want two Windows server. Okay, in one of the Windows servers, I'm going to install the PHP. PHP, you know?
No,
Okay, Nginx.
no.
Okay. So, okay. So when we run any of the, say suppose we are doing hdfc.com
Yeah.
URL, okay?
Yeah.
So at the back end, it is running on the three process. Web server, that is the front end. Whatever we are seeing, that DNS, this www.com, that is the web server, that host name. Those things are done and managed at the web server level. App server is what? In application server, basically we do the designing of how the our website should look like. Like
Yeah.
initially hdfc.com, when someone log in, it will ask for the username, password, then it will route to the page where at the leftmost corner it will show their user credentials and details, then their bank details, etc., etc., right? Then
Yeah.
it should be in which color, which format, which letters, after which like after which block, next block should look like what, how many rows should be there, how many columns should be there. That is all handled in app server layer. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there could be n number of users, like 100,000 or so on. So
Yeah.
that is what? That is the data, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is stored in the database. Now database could be SQL database, my Postgres database. Okay, these are the types.
Yeah.
Okay, Oracle database. So these are the types of the databases. So now the data will get stored in the database. So that is how the three-tier architecture is. Now, what we are saying, EC2. Okay. EC2 is just a machine, a plain
Yeah.
machine. It could be Windows server, it could be Linux server, Linux like operating. Okay. So basically, there are main two operating systems are there, Windows or Linux.
Yeah.
Now, Windows is what? When we log into our computer, I mean laptop. We are
Yeah.
getting what? That start menu and the simple page when we buy a new laptop, right? So
Yeah.
that is how when we create EC2 server, that
Yeah.
is how we will get that machine. But there is
Yeah.
a method to log in into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what? Now the next thing is plain Windows server I have. Now I have to make a web server. So what I'll install a lot of softwares in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that software, I will configure it. Say suppose I purchase new laptop, then I will connect it with the Google. I will like set up the Wi-Fi, password, etc. Then I will go to Chrome. Sorry, I'll go to Internet Explorer. I will install Chrome. After installing Chrome, I will install, say suppose I need to download some notes. I will download some notes. I will download some files. So now my laptop have all the things which I require. Now I will make different folders. I will copy data over there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Similarly, in EC2, we will create the machine based
Yeah.
on the OS we require. Now there are multiple OS with multiple versions like Windows 2012, 2016, 2019. So general, and there are again further specifications like whether we need plain Windows server, whether we need Windows server where SQL is installed. SQL is database, okay? So
Yeah.
SQL is installed where we need a few more softwares. Then that is all options are there in a AWS marketplace.
Yeah.
In AWS console, while creating this resource, we can get lot of options. Okay.
Are you sharing anything?
Yes, you're not able to see.
No, no, no. I am seeing that EC2.
Oh no, no. Currently, I'm just talking.
Okay. Okay.
I will share that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll get lot of options over there. Which OS
Okay.
to select and why, like, and other specifications also. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So that is what the EC2 machine is. EC2 is machine is nothing but the one. EC2 is nothing but one of the machine. Okay, which is virtually present on our VPC.
Okay.
And in the subnet which we select,
Okay.
and it could be public, it could be private. Now how my EC2 will become public? If I will attach the
That is the internet gateway.
yes, in like I have created my EC2 in particular VPC, then it will ask for the subnet. I have
Yeah.
created it in public subnet, okay?
Yeah.
But still now it won't become public. Why? Because now we need to create to attach a public IP into it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
whenever we create EC2, it will always have private IP address. Private IP
Okay.
address from where it will get? From the pool of VPC CIDR we have created.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
from within that subnet which we have attached, whether it is public subnet or private subnet or web or like subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Now uh suppose we will want to make it public. So what we'll do? We will auto assign a public IP or maybe, but auto assign public IP is what? When we restart our instance. Okay, there is an
Yeah.
option in AWS console. We can restart, we can stop and start, hard reboot also we can take. So once we restart our instance by any chance, that public IP will change immediately. So
Okay.
suppose we have to keep it static, right?
Yeah.
Like it should not change. So what we'll do? We will create elastic IP. That is again one of the sub services in the EC2 section. So we will create elastic IP and we will attach elastic IP to our EC2. Now, whenever we restart our instance, it is not going to change.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, EC2 features. It is a
That elastic IP will be like public or
public. It is always public.
elastic IP is always public. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Private IP, because private IP by default will always attach to EC2 instance.
Okay.
I mean, by
Yeah.
default is what? While creating whatever subnet we will select on that,
Yeah.
from that subnet range, it will take one of the private IP address and it will create. We will
Yeah.
check that, don't worry. Okay. So EC2 features. Compute. Why we are saying when we are, so these are the requirement while creating the EC2 instance. Compute. Compute is resource. That is vCPU. How much CPU we require. Then memory, then network, then storage. Now, if we'll go back to previous generation computers, like there could
Yeah.
have been a computer, a big CPU box, okay,
Yeah.
and then we used to define like how much memory we want, RAM, then
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
Okay, and network, when we talk about network, network is like in which VPC it would come, which VPC, which subnet, what are the route entries, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Storage is like how much storage we need. Okay,
Yeah.
so like when it's like it's same as the way we purchase a phone. So
Yeah.
we check all these specifications like RAM, storage,
Yeah.
and accordingly we purchase it. So similarly here we have to define this. When
Yeah.
we say compute means CPU.
GPU.
Right. Yeah, memory when we say it is a RAM.
Yeah.
Network when we say, then VPC and components come under this. When we say storage means 100 GB. Like, so now again, storage, when we create Windows
Yeah.
server,
Yeah.
so 30 GB storage is the by default, like we have to take 30 GB. We cannot take less than that. For
Okay.
Linux, starting is the 8 GB.
Okay.
Okay, so we can create resources 8 GB.
Okay.
Now, there are many EC2s which are free tier eligible. Now, what does it mean? Like, it is for 1 year, it would be free.
Yeah.
But how would it be? Like, say, suppose CPU is 0.5, memory is 1 GB. So, and storage we take, suppose 8 GB. So, very basic one. So, that one free tier eligible. Like, we won't get any charge.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the the basic free tier eligible EC2 instance. Now, global infrastructure. Now,
Yeah.
what does it mean? So in AWS, as we had seen yesterday, there are multiple locations.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. There are multiple locations. Multiple locations are what? Number one is region, right?
Region. Yeah.
Talk about region. Region means what? Which location it is specifically country, right?
Country. Yeah.
Yes.
In that, just separate zones are there. Available zones are
Yes, that's correct. So that zone is called it what it is called?
there.
Availability.
Availability zone. Availability zone.
Okay. Availability zone is what basically?
It's a location in that particular country. That is a particular location.
Data
That is
center.
a data center. Data center.
Yes,
There are multiple, like as you told, North Virginia have 6 data centers.
correct. And
Like
others
I
are
have they default 3. Other are 3 data centers each location. Other is locations.
yes, and that is ABC. That
Yeah,
is how.
ABC. Yeah,
Okay. So so now global infrastructure. Now this is one of the advantages of the cloud. Why cloud? Because there are multiple locations. Now
yeah,
high precision time with Amazon time sync service. Now when we create resources, if we make any small changes, it will immediately reflect. Okay, it won't take like much time. Like it's like will like in traditional network, how things are working.
yeah,
Say suppose we want to change the resources, say suppose RAM, we want to change the RAM
yeah,
from 100 GB to 200 GB. Then after a lot of approvals and all, it takes almost a month or sometimes 6 months for small changes. But here in cloud, after the approvals, immediately within a minute we can change it. There
yeah.
is
Actually, in the physical machine, we have to shut down. Then only we can do the upgradation. But in Amazon, I think we can directly upgrade
no,
that.
here while like a few things are there which we can do on the fly, but few things are there for which we require the downtime window, but very small downtime window. Say
Okay.
suppose currently my resources are running on say suppose 2 CPU,
Yeah,
okay, and 4 GB RAM. Now
yeah,
I have to make it just double. So let me tell you how I'll show you in instance time. So suppose now I want to make it double.
Yeah.
Now 4 CPU and 8 GB RAM. So now what
Yeah.
I'll do, I need hardly 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes is actually too much. It's like hardly 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Safer side, we ask for 5-10 minutes downtime.
Yeah.
Like within a minute, we will get new resources, double the resources than the current one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then choice of operating systems and software. Okay.
Yeah.
So in AWS Marketplace, there is a different section where we can get whatever operating system we need, Windows, Linux, and then in Windows, different based on the whether 2012 version, what version we want, and it should be combination of what, like which database or something, or what all other softwares. Okay, so
These softwares include even free softwares or only the paid ones?
no. So it's like if say suppose mm SQL is installed over there, right?
Yeah.
So there is an option like enterprise SQL. Then the other one also standard one. So there are types, right? So now if already we have the software purchased,
Yeah.
okay. So in that scenario, that license, that keys, like it is installed over there, but those keys we have to enter. And if
Okay.
suppose we want the free one, so enterprise is mostly free, right? Enterprise one or standard one is free, like this.
Enterprise will be like paid version because it's a purchase for the company, right?
Okay. So I think standard one is the free one version. So
Yeah.
that is also there. That different combinations are there. So which one is want, whichever is want, you can purchase them.
Yeah. Actually, generally now in Windows we will install like some are like Office we will purchase licensed one. Then for Adobe, if you want Adobe also is it's having a free version and it's a paid version also is there. Neither we have a software in
Yeah.
it.
So
You mean
it's
to say?
yes, so it's like different combinations are there
Okay.
based on what we need that we can create, that we
Okay.
can purchase, but not purchase. We in AWS, if we will take from marketplace, so the pricing is in AWS, nothing is free, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like pay as you go model. If we will use our and it is good also, but it's like we should know, like if suppose our resources are non-production.
Yeah.
Oh, non-prod resources are there, and we know that daily 4 hours only we are going to use it. Then we can apply automation. Okay, so automatically our resources will start up at say suppose 9 a.m. and
Yeah.
it will stop after 4 hours. So now what? In 24 hours, we are running our resources only 4 hours. So we will get on charge only for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But we'll compare this with the traditional network. We cannot do this. We don't have such facility over there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like within a minute, we can like make the changes. We can start the instances, we can stop the instances, we can apply the schedules, we can change the it's compute resources. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is what is very advantageous when we see the cloud. Okay.
This same thing will be the option in all the clouds. Not only,
Yes.
in if you go to Google, the same they have the same type of
AWS,
features.
Azure, and
Yeah.
Google. These
Yeah.
are and Oracle and few others are also there. But AWS is on top because of the features it has.
Okay.
And yeah, features and then the type of support. So if suppose anything goes wrong
Yeah.
in account, immediately you can raise a query and AWS support team will write you and they will help. It's like a customer care for like normal service. In a simple term, I can say
Yeah.
customer care, right?
Yeah.
So immediately they'll come and they'll just solve. Like say suppose somehow you're not able to create VPC.
Yeah.
So it might be the case like something happened at the back end with your account, right?
Yeah.
It is cloud or whatever. So you'll just write a mail to them, and based on the type of support plan you have,
Yeah.
it will get resolved.
Okay.
So that is how, yeah. And different services are there. Multiple, like 300 plus services are there.
Yeah.
Based on those services, these services are like, say, suppose there are service limits. Like at
Okay.
a time, you can create only 5 APC. In a,
Okay.
okay. Say, suppose you want to create more, then you can request for the service increase.
Okay.
Then similarly, it goes to like EC2 machine. You can create multiple machines, but again, how much compute resources you are using,
Okay.
that is also has a limit.
Okay.
That limit is again like we can increase,
Okay.
raising a query to AWS support.
Okay.
Okay.
Generally, the companies will have a multiple EC2 instance or
Multiple. Sometimes it is more than even 1,000, 2,000, because there
okay.
are where a lot of applications are there, and same application having, as I said, web app DB, right?
Yeah.
So it could, like, one application have 10 servers, 20 servers. So here we say servers or instances or EC2. This
Yeah.
is all the same thing. EC2 server instances, this is all same thing. So
Okay.
like one company could have maybe 1,000, 2,000 EC2 instances, multiple databases and all these things.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, cost and capacity optimization. Pay for what you use. Okay. As I
Yeah.
say, it is pay as you go model. That is how the billing is working in the cloud. Then scale seamlessly with Amazon EC2 auto scaling. Now, what is auto scaling? Auto scaling is what? Suppose our servers are running
Yeah.
24 by like 4 hours daily, then suddenly we know that we need it to run like 24 by 7, because it is very critical application. Like, say, suppose railway application is there, like IRCTC. Now, what we
Yeah.
want is it should run 24 by 7, right?
Yeah.
There is some festival.
Yeah.
Now, we know that like if daily users are 10, then on that day there could be 1,000 users.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
my one machine cannot handle it. Now what
Yeah.
I need, I could need maybe multiple machines, or maybe same machine should be increased to like double the size or triple the size, right? So
Yeah.
that is called auto scaling. So in
Okay.
AWS there is a process which we
Yeah.
can apply, and what it will do, it will just check the resources, and once it finds that my resources are now increased 90%, it is utilized 90%, immediately it will create new one.
Okay.
Okay.
As per
Without,
the workload. As per the workload.
yes,
Right.
as per the workload. So immediately it will create new resource. So that is what auto scaling is. Now, auto
Okay.
scaling is of two types: horizontal auto scaling, vertical auto scaling. When we say horizontal, okay, now how to understand this? So horizontal is what? Something like this. Like say, suppose, just have a look on this blue
Line.
line.
Line. Line. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this blue line. So when we say horizontal, so one resource could need a horizontal auto scaling. Now, what does it mean? I need multiple instances of the same type, of the same category, of the same compute resources, right?
Yeah.
So there could be, initially there was one EC2, now 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay,
Yeah.
that is horizontal. When we increase the number of resources, okay,
Okay.
that is horizontal. Now I'm saying vertical. Vertical means what? Increasing the resource of the current EC2. One
The
EC2
RAM. Like
machine.
RAM. Like
Yes,
RAM hard disk like that.
yes. Current EC2 means one EC2 is there, and only one would be there till the end. But previously it was running with 2 vCPU and 4 GB RAM. Now it will have 4 vCPU, 8 GB RAM. Again, after some time, it again cross the threshold of 90%. Now again, we'll make it double. Okay, 8 vCPU, 16 GB RAM. So
Yeah.
2 raised to power. That is how this vCPU and RAM is increasing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, optimize compute performance and cost with Amazon EC2 fleet. Now, based on the, as I said, we based on our requirement, we can optimize our resources. Okay, and
Yeah.
accordingly, like, we can save the cost. Okay.
Yeah.
Then optimize CPU configurations. Then pause and resume your instances. As I said, I know that my resource is going to be utilized only for 5 hours, only for 2 hours, 10 hours, etc. Accordingly, I can write some automation script. I can put a schedule on it that it will only stop within the time we have selected.
Okay.
Now, storage. Optimal storage for every workload. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
EC2, when we talk about storage in EC2, always remember that it is called volume. Okay. Now, suppose it is a Windows instance. So in our laptop, Windows laptop, what we are saying, C drive, D drive. C drive is 30 GB and my D drive is 200 GB.
Yeah.
Okay, that is how we talk generally. So here we are saying volume.
Yeah.
Volume means what? One volume we can create is of suppose 50 GB.
Yeah.
Now we can create the partition into it. So say suppose we currently it would be treated as a root volume, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like one server, one volume is attached. Now what we can do is, suppose we found that we need 100 GB more. So instead of partitioning the same volume into two drives, we will take additional volume and that we will attach to our server and make it D drive
Okay.
or E drive, etc. Okay.
Okay.
But volume is something which additional volume is there, then we can detach it and delete it if not required. But suppose if root volume or the main volume we have attached to server and made it to 200 GB, now we cannot decrease the volume in any way. We
Okay.
cannot increase it. So volume once created, it cannot be decreased. It can be increased, but it cannot be decreased.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You mean
for,
to say C like a C drive. C drive if I create, I
yes,
can only increase. I can't decrease. In
that's right.
the yeah. That's why we are taking additional one and we are attaching them to the existing one. Or
Yes,
we or what we can do, we can take a additional storage and we can create a different drive.
yes.
Okay.
So, okay. So when we are saying storage, always remember that in AWS, it is called volume. Okay.
Yeah.
Then these are called Amazon Elastic Block Storage, EBS, EBS volumes. Okay. So please remember this term. So when we
Yeah.
talk about EC2 machine, that is EBS volume,
Yeah.
Elastic Block Storage.
Okay.
Okay. Now, next part, networking. So networking, when we talk about networking, so what are the features we are getting into this? High packet per second performance, PPS, and low latency with enhanced networking. Now, this is one of the feature called enhanced networking. Here, say suppose our resources are very critical, running 24/7, and there should not be any downtime. It should be very fast. So there is something, is a term called as elastic networking. This is
Yeah.
the feature using which we can increase the performance of our resource. Okay.
Yeah.
Then run high levels of inter-node communication with Elastic Fabric Adapter. Elastic Fabric Adapter is what? Again, to increase the performance. This is also one of the features which is supporting Linux instances. Okay.
Okay.
Then manage dynamic cloud computing services with Elastic IP addresses. Elastic IP, as I mentioned, This is the public IP, which would remain static in
Static.
instance. Okay, it will not change even after the restart.
Yeah.
Okay. Then high throughput, low latency with high performance computing clusters. So these are the things which is present in networking. Then access services hosted on AWS easily and securely with AWS private link. Now, uh, private link is what? Uh, for now, just understand that there are resources. If we want to connect, say, suppose Google, we want to download some software, right? So
Yeah.
now our laptop should have internet access, then only we can download it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we can download it, right?
Yeah.
Now in AWS, few services are public and few services are private.
Yeah.
Now, one service should communicate easily with another service, even if it's a public. So there is link we can create. There is a setup we can create that is called private link.
Okay.
So these are the setup using which two services can communicate with each other, even if it's a public one, without having a internet access. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this was the networking part in it in EC2. Now, operating systems and software. As I mentioned, based on the requirement, we can select the operating system and software.
Yeah.
So there are multiple versions of the uh, Windows machine and multiple versions of the Linux machine. And also Amazon provide its own Linux that is called Amazon machine, that is called Amazon Linux. And
Okay.
so if we take the backup of the total EC2, so that is called Amazon machine image. Okay. Say
Yeah.
suppose we will take the backup and now we know that suppose we have created one Windows server, we have installed n number of softwares. Now every time we have to create the same,
Yeah.
like create Windows server, install the softwares, then it is like same thing every time, right? So here we have feature like we can take the backup and we just create the EC2. All the softwares would present already there. We will
Okay.
just get new IPs allocated and
Okay.
the whatever say suppose resource requirement we need like compute, memory, storage, volume. Okay.
Yeah.
So that we need to decide. And once we create that, we'll see like all the softwares are already there.
Okay.
So hence we create the backup. So just read it once. Yes. So these are the types of the Linux. So Amazon Linux too, that is Amazon made Linux.
Okay.
Then Ubuntu, Red Hat, CentOS, SUSE, Debian. These are different flavors of the Linux itself. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Different companies.
Yes. So okay. So have you worked on any operating system logging into it and install some software and all that?
Only in Windows. Linux, no, very less. Maximum Windows only we work.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. So for this, like you should have like little knowledge on Linux also. So
Okay.
there are the commands, there are the things. So it's nothing like tough in that one. So
Okay.
task I have set up in such a way that so try with those tasks with Linux. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now maintenance. When we talk about cloud around, right? So we have this setup is created on cloud where we have to just decide like whatever is our requirement based on the resources, based on the softwares installed, based on the OS, that we only need to check, that we only going to uh, take care of. No need to see the hardware and all this. Okay, that
Okay.
is all. But it does it mean like it is uh like virtual? When we say virtual, it means that for us it is virtual, but it is somewhere present and somebody is taking care of it. Now, who is taking care of it? This is all taken care by AWS.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk on about the cloud, then no need to check for the like maintenance. So at the backend, it is taken care by the AWS. Okay, so just read it.
Improving application uptime and reducing operation effect. AWS regularly performs routine hardware, software, power and network maintenance with minimum disruption across all the EC2 instance types.
Yes. Okay.
They'll only do all the maintenance. Like in if suppose we are in office, means the IT person will do the maintenance. That is
Yeah.
not required. Everything will be taken care by AWS in the
Yes.
back end.
Yes, at the backend.
Yeah. Will there be any communication? Like they will send a communication that we are going to perform like that. They will send any
Yes.
communication.
So yes. So generally, we don't get any downtime.
Okay.
Generally, like based on our region, generally, whenever they do, it won't have impact on
Major.
courses.
Yeah. Okay.
But whenever they are going to do any changes, there is a different dashboard called public health dashboard. There we
Okay.
are getting the notifications like when this EC2 will go on maintenance, when that database server, like when which resource is going under maintenance, that we'll get notified for that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So a quick summarize, please. So what we
Yeah.
are.
We checked about EC2
Hmm.
and what is the cost and what is the maintenance,
Hmm.
uh, what is the elastic IP address,
Hmm.
and features like what is the resources for a particular. If you read an EC instance, what are all resources required? Memory, storage, network,
Yes. What is storage is called in this EC2?
volume.
Yes. And which type?
Actually, in Windows also, actually even in Windows also, they'll tell us a volume one. They'll
Yes.
not generally if you create anything, it will show as you have to create a volume only. It will show
Okay. Okay. So what type of storage is allocated to EC2?
uh, block storage
Yes.
in a
Elastic block storage.
elastic block
Yes.
storage, elastic block storage.
Okay. So whenever you heard this term EBS or
Yeah,
elastic block storage, please remember that it is always attached with the EC2 instance.
yeah,
Okay. And that is what? That is the storage. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Now, just read it once.
EC2 components, EC instance types, security group, VPC and subnet, EC2 volume storage, public IP, private IP, elastic IP, key pair.
Yes. Now, while creating the EC2, while creating the VPC, what we need? CIDR range,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Classless interdomain routing. For VPC, we need CIDR.
JDR.
Okay.
Yeah,
Similarly, for EC2, we need to know instance types. Now, instance is what? Server.
yeah,
Instance type. Now, when we say instance type, we talk about the resources. That is compute resources. That is RAM. That is CPU. So, how much CPU we need? How much memory we need? Okay. So, in EC2, there are a thing called as instance type in which there are multiple type of instances. T2 instances, T3 instances, M5 instances, C type of instances, R type of instances. In that, we will get different type of combination. Okay.
okay.
So let me show you like what type of combination I'm talking about. My screen visible?
One second. Yeah.
Okay. So these are the different type of instance type we are saying. General purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage, HPC instance. This is okay. Now the basic ones are T type of instances. Here, T2 type of instances. Now, here's suppose somebody have told us to create the instance and said that I need 2 GB RAM and CPU 1 or 2, anything you take. Okay, now we'll see the T2 instances. Now, starting with T2.nano, vCPU is 1, memory 0.5. And how much is the cost is not mentioned over here. So per hourly based cost is there. So
Okay.
pricing we'll check. Okay. T2 micro, vCPU 1, memory 1 GB.
Yeah.
T small, 1, 2 GB memory. T2 medium, large, X large, T2 X large. So these are the families of T2 instances.
Okay.
So 2, 4, 8, 4, 8, 16, 32. Now, this is general purpose instance type. Okay.
Okay.
Then T3. Again, T3 is same, but we are getting like in T3, the costing is varies as compared to T2. Okay, pricing is varying. Then
Okay.
T4G. This is graviton instance. Whenever there is a G, this is graviton instance. What graviton instance is high performance instance, number one. Number two, costing pricing is also less.
Okay.
So nowadays we are using a lot graviton instances to save the cost.
Okay.
Wherever we see A, T3A, these are AMD based instances, and others are Intel based instances, processor. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
AMD based instances are lower in pricing as compared to Intel one.
Okay.
Okay. So if my instances types are not that critical, then we can use AMD based instance types. Okay. Then
How to identify that?
it is written over there. Wherever A is there is AMD based. A is not there, it is Intel.
Okay.
Okay. Then
Default. If nothing is there, it is a Intel default.
C, it is called compute optimized. Compute means what? CPU is more, memory is less as compared to. So we will select wherever we know that my resource is taking a lot of CPU, but memory it is taking only 50%. So say suppose I have initially given T2 micro, T2 small, T2 have 2 4 combination, T2 medium. But
Mm.
now I'm seeing that my memory utilization is only 50%, but my CPU utilization is increasing. So what I'll do now, CPU utilization is say suppose 90%. So I will take this combination because what only CPU is increasing high, but memory is not utilizing that much.
Okay.
So we will select compute type of instances. But say suppose I have realized that my CPU remains the same, but memory is utilizing more as compared to CPU. So I'll choose memory type of instances. That is R type of instances. Okay.
Yeah.
So R5 is the standard one. So here see 2, 16, 32. So memory is more
Yeah.
as compared to CPU. See? So these are the type of these are the instance type.
Yeah. vCPU means what you told. vCPU.
It's a CPU only. Since it's on
Okay.
cloud, that's why it is called vCPU. It's a
Okay.
term.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So this is the instance type now.
Yeah.
Security group. Now, first firewall is what? Remember? We discussed first firewall.
But NCR block.
NACL. Net,
Knuckles. Sorry.
yes, network access control list. So that is first firewall. There we can allow, there we can block. Okay.
Yeah.
But in security group, we have only allow option. It means that once we create our EC2, we will define that this machine is going to be used from these 10 computers, and the IPs of those computers are this. So I will only allow for those on, and that my EC2 will only be accessible from those IPs or those computers. Okay. So
Yeah.
until unless we will allow something on the security group, we won't get, we are not able to access it. Okay.
Okay.
Only allow option.
Okay.
Then we cannot deny in security group, but if we allow, then only it is accessible.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then VPC and subnet, as I mentioned, we need to select. Then EC2 volume, that is storage. EBS, we need to select like how much GB we need, whether 50, 10, 200, and so on. Then public IP, whether my instance is web server or public one. So I will attach public IP into it. If
Yeah.
it's a private and private IPs by default, it will attach
It
to
will be
the
there EPC.
based on the VPC and the subnet we have attached
Yeah.
to the server. Then elastic IP. If we want our public IP to remain static, then we
Yeah.
will separately create elastic IP and attach to it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now key pair. What is this key pair? So while creating the instance, we need to create a key pair, and then that key will be downloaded. So say suppose it's a Windows instance, then there is an option, the key pair which will get downloaded. There is admin and password. So using that, using that key, we have to first decrypt the administrator password. After decrypting that administrator password, then only we can connect our server. And in case
Okay.
of PC Linux machine, it will ask for the key.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have, once we log in with the key, then we can create the user segment based on the password, username and password.
This key
Okay.
pair is for the EC
Login.
is for
Login.
no. It is for instance like we
Is
have a it's for EC2 instance, right?
it's for EC2 instance only.
Okay. Can we suppose in laptop we will log in,
Hmm.
like it will show our name like that, right?
So see, initially when we log in our laptop,
Yeah.
so it will ask for some key. Okay,
Yeah.
now that key, from where we'll get the key.
Yeah.
So before login to laptop, there is one, like say suppose wherever we have purchased our laptop, we
Yeah.
have to go to that system, and
Yeah.
from there we will add the key. Then it will decrypt the password for us, username and password, and
Okay.
then only we can log into the our laptop using username and password.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is what this is for only for one instance, right?
Yes, yes. And it's one time thing. Like once we log in into it, then we can create multiple users, and later on we can use a user and password to log in.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So this was all about the EC2. So just read it once and let me know if you understood.
Create EC2, attach public IP, and connect the server with your machine. Windows 19 base image. Now restart the server and connect again, taking RDP. Create EC2, attach Elastic IP and connect the server with your machine. Windows 19 base image. Now restart the server and connect again, taking RDP. For above scenario, observe the changes. Create no public or Elastic IP attached. EC2, Amazon Linux server and take RDP from above Windows server.
Have you understood? So basically, you have to just create the EC2 server, and
Okay.
you have to check what is the difference between Elastic IP and public IP. Okay, you
Okay.
have to create one Windows and one Linux. But now here the thing is, you need to perform this practical. Okay. So quickly summarize, please, what we have learned today. So overall, like this week, what we learned, like yesterday and now, today.
Mm,
So just think of that architecture diagram. 1 minute, let me present that architecture diagram. Okay. Yes.
yeah, we discussed about the VPC, subnets, uh, then the route table, IGW, then NACL. Then that is yesterday's topic. Today's we discuss about the elastic IP and networking related things and uh, the resources like compute, storage, memory, uh,
Okay.
then
So these are the
EBS,
of what?
GBS,
Okay. EBS is what? It is related with what?
elastic block storage.
Yes,
It's a
it is
volume. It's a
with,
volume.
okay, related with which service?
Is EC2.
Yes. Okay. And EC2 is also called?
It's a like Amazon machine image, right? EC2 is a
No. Instance. Instance or server or EC2. It's the same thing. Okay.
yeah
Okay. Yeah. What were the EC2 components?
like public IP, private IP, VPC,
Okay.
subnets, key
Oh,
pair,
okay.
route table, and all it all comes under the VPC. This one EC2 instance.
Okay. And what is the firewall for EC2?
NACL, the
Mm,
default
for EC2, what is the firewall for EC2?
security group, right?
Yes. Yes. And what is the first firewall?
NACL.
NACL. So, what is the difference between NACL and security group?
Um, security group, it will allow the traffic.
Yes, correct.
This NACL is like we can manage inside that
We can allow as well as we can block.
block.
It's a stateful and one is stateless.
Okay.
Okay. So, these are the features. And before, like we'll first create AWS account, then we'll select the region. After selecting the region, we will create the VPC, then subnets, then subnet we can place in different availability zones, that is AZs, also called data center. Then we can create our resources, that is EC2 instance.
Yeah.
Okay. So EC2 instance could be public or private. So currently, so public one is the one which has, which route table has a IGW entry, that is public one, and the IGW entry is not there, that is private one. Okay.
Yeah. Now, if I create a EC2 instance, I have to delete it, right?
Yes, so once you create EC2 instance, select free tier eligible. So T2 micro you can create. So that is free tier eligible. While creating it, there you will see that option free tier eligible. So just
Okay.
go through that video. So what I'll suggest you, first complete task 1.
Okay.
Okay, which is very easy. After completing task 1, then just see all those videos. Not today, maybe tomorrow or day after. You have 5 days now. So
Yeah.
just see those 3 videos and then try to create the EC2 instance. And while creating EC2 instance, maybe you can follow those videos. Just go step by step,
Yeah.
create them, then try to connect with your laptop. And yes, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Do
But
it. I'll
remember
do it.
that in EC2 security group, you have to allow your IP. So don't make it, okay, so just follow the video. So next time I will show you the practical of EC2.
Yeah, then only I'll get doubts, because if I watch video, I can't even ask any doubt, right?
Don't worry. So just watch the video, try to
I'll
keep
do
track.
whatever, however they are doing.
Yes,
I'll do the step by step by
yes,
watching the video.
yes. Just do it step by step. And
Yeah,
then next time I will show you the practical.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So I think we are good for today.
yeah.
Thank you.